While Teen Challenge was focused on helping those caught in the grip of drug or alcohol addiction, World Challenge was aimed at providing relief for those caught in poverty. Orphanages were built in slum areas where children had nowhere else to go. Food kitchens were set up and stocked for those who were going hungry.
We saw needs around us. We heard of needs, even globally, from people that knew of World Challenge or had personal contacts in World Challenge. And World Challenge then would, as we're messaging, would see a need, try to meet a need.
When David Wilkerson was starting to kind of get up in age, and he had done, everything that God had put in his heart, and said, God, what do you want me to do now? And in essence, God told him, David, feed the poor.
In a lot of these countries, we were giving out handouts, but we were not actually producing faith or confidence or a sense that God is the God of the impossible.
Something that Gary Wilkerson, during a trip to Africa some years ago, he noticed the poverty that was there, and looked. He met a young boy, I believe, as he tells the story, who were being fed through one of our programs.
There's a line of people there, and a kid walked up and says, "Oh, thank you for having this feeding program. I've been coming here for a number of years, getting my meals before I go to school, and thank you for having this meal providing thing. And my father came here before me when he was younger." I was like, okay, we've been doing this thing feeding program for 20 years now, and now it's going to the second generation.
And so you can see when you are in a situation where you've come to help, but you realize that the situation hasn't changed.
And it didn't seem healthy to me. It didn't seem like it wasn't changing the fabric of the society or the culture or the family or the neighborhood or the community or the church's ability to see transformation taking place, not just on an individual level, but on a cultural level as well.
And what came out of that was quite a lot of research, trying to understand, is there something we can do differently than just providing food and funds?
In 2005, the Lord answered our prayer about a different way by bringing us into contact with development ministry. And when we first heard that, I think we assumed it meant like maybe it was building infrastructure. Maybe it meant building orphanages or building churches or, developing things. But as we found out, the biblical concept of development is building people.
We try to look at the underlying issues of poverty and kind of get to the roots of these issues with the communities and the churches that we're invited to work with.
We would see some of the places where they hadn't started doing development. So we had an idea what it looked like. And then we would go back a few months later and we would go to those same places. It was very visible that something was happening, and that was exciting.
And we were able to see many communities now that don't need feeding programs because they found farming skills, they started small businesses, they found resources, they began to share with one another if a family was in a particular low point in crisis. And the churches got involved, getting outside their four walls. So it had a two-pronged impact. One is helping the poor, but it also awakened the church.
And that's what we're about. We're to see the transformation of lives and families and communities through the gospel of Jesus Christ.